Okay, so before I give out a complete review of Galaxy S20 FE 5G, there are some things that need to be clarified, as many of you have been asking about the charging time, camera quality, software updates and more. So in this video I'll be answering the most frequently asked questions related to the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G. And before going ahead, make sure to tap on that subscribe button and press that bell icon next to it, so that you don't miss out on the future videos from the channel. First up, the wired charging and the charger that I use with my device. Well, I use the charger from OnePlus 8T as it supports USB power delivery. But you won't be able to buy it as it is not available anywhere and it is costly too. So you can get one from Samsung instead, and you can find the links to that charger and USB cable in the description area itself. So that will charge your device at 25 watts, that is the maximum supported speed. For me, with the OnePlus 8T charger, the time it takes to charge from 20 to 100 is around 1 hour and 20 minutes, which isn't that bad considering the size of battery. It's definitely far away from the 65 watt speed that we see these days, but I don't think everyone will miss that. Also, I'll attach some links to good cases and tempered glass in the description area itself, and you can check them out in case you want to. Now talking about the gaming performance and heating issues if any. So I tried a couple of games till now and I'm still testing this device. But there is something you should know. So with Android 11, Samsung introduced an enhanced mode, and if you feel that the device is a bit slow for your taste, just check in settings for an enhanced mode option and turn it on. This will take the device to maximum performance and not taking that much care about the battery. So if you are gaming by any chance, well, relax, they have not slowed down the device. Also, after this, even the benchmark scores will go all normal. So here are the Geekbench scores after turning on the enhanced mode, and I saw a lot of complaints on forums from people asking if Samsung slowed down the device. In fact, they didn't. So just like OnePlus, they have this setting that changes the max CPU clock speed to save some battery. And though it isn't the best thing to do, I really appreciate that they have given a toggle for this. Anyway, so I tried BGMI and Asphalt 9, and though the Asphalt 9 is quite optimized and lightweight as compared to BGMI, hence I faced no issues or major heat buildup. So I went ahead with BGMI and tried it for some quick sessions, and the game runs on smooth and extreme settings maximum. So no 90 FPS option here, though the game runs quite alright at this setting too. But the experience won't be top notch like that on a OnePlus 8T with its 90 FPS support. Still, I could play the game easily enough after like 15-20 minutes, and there was some heat buildup. So there were a couple of dropped frames, but nothing extraordinary as such. Also, I won't recommend this phone if you want to do extreme gaming because it doesn't have any fancy cooling tech. And even the charging speed is not up to the gaming phone standard. So feel free to avoid if gaming is your top priority. And if light gaming is, then you're good to go. Now talking about the Android updates and software support. And so many of you asked me if this device will get 2 or 3 updates. And well, actually this phone got launched with Android 10 globally. And I don't think it matters if in India it was launched with Android 11 or so. So it will be getting 12 and 13 update at least for sure. And I'll be more than happy to see one more update, but I don't think that it will be the case because of the reason I just said. So hopefully you guys understand this thing. Overall, the support for patches is still left for 3 years, so you will be getting the security updates till 2024. Overall, if I talk about the software, well, I am a stock Android fan mostly. But using this S20 FE didn't make me feel bad, mostly because I found the software well refined with the latest patches. And even the battery life has been good in my case. Right now the device is running on September patch and gets monthly updates and patches from Samsung, which is great in my opinion. Though there are some useless apps too, like the Samsung TV and Galaxy Store. And you can disable some of those, though not entirely, and if Samsung decides to clean this UI, it will get a lot better and suitable for all. And in the meanwhile, if you get any notifications from Galaxy Store, just long press on the application, click on app info and disable the notification toggle, and it will never ever bother you again. You can do the same with any application, but please make sure you follow my setup video that I shared a couple of videos back. And here is a card to that as well. Now about the camera and camera quality. Well, in the last 2-3 days that I had with this device, I tested the camera quite a bit from various random samples to whatnot. And I would say I'm quite impressed by the cameras on this device, especially the back cameras, as they did a fantastic job. See the images and how far the subject is. You can go way close to your subject, and even the images on 30x zoom weren't that poor. They won't be usable for Insta or any social media, but hey, it's great that the device still captures something that is even a bit usable, even at this close 30x zoom, and that's crazy. Also, the primary sensor is 12 megapixel, but there isn't anything bad about the resolution, as higher megapixels don't usually mean a better camera. In the low light and night shots, the device did surprisingly well, and the images not only get brighter, but the details are quite preserved too. Similarly, I could take decent macro shots, and the natural bokeh the camera offers is quite nice. Overall, the back cameras are very solid and worthy at this price point. The front facing camera is also decent, though not the absolute best that you will see at this price point. Still, the images that it takes are good with decent amount of details, and I like the skin tones produced, though I think the details could have been more, and the portrait mode shots are pretty accurate too. If I sum up my impressions till now of this Galaxy S20 FE, well, they have been largely positive and surprising, and I think this might be a really good option for many of you out there. And rest, well, let's see in the full review. So that's it for now. If you end up liking this video, make sure you press that like button and tap on that subscribe button for more videos like this one in future. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.